Hello and welcome. I've just finished doing a week's fashion internship for Vinonomi as part of my art foundation course, which was a pretty cool experience, and I'm here to share that with you. This was a pretty fast-paced week, which actually started with moving into uni. So that happened on Monday, went smoothly, missed my family, and by Tuesday it was already our main induction day. We immediately got the brief for the Vinonomi internship because the show was in 6 days. There are about 90 of us, and at least half of us applied, and we were told 20 would be chosen. We were given 1 hour over lunch if we wanted to apply to draw or make some sort of leaf out of the materials provided, which was just tissue paper, card, things like that. This is what I made, and by the end of the day they told us who was selected. We started the next day on Wednesday. In the morning we got a more in-depth brief on what the designers wanted, which was essentially 3 different living walls made out of tropical leaves, and we were told to design 3 different leaves of different sizes and then to make 6 of each of those sizes. So we spent the rest of the first day designing our leaves, getting started cutting them and painting the backs of them onto sugar paper so as to not make a mess all over the floor. However, we soon realised this was a mistake, and the next morning we got into studio, went to inspect our leaves, and they were all stuck to the paper. We lost about half a day to trying to unstick these leaves. So as you can tell from the following clips, we weren't feeling great about that.
Please don't do this.
Any opinions, thoughts, feelings, emotions?
It's going really well. I'm really, actually very happy. I'm having so much fun.
You really look it.
Yeah.
Just zoom in on that face. Thank you. Friday and Saturday was more of the same. We started painting on some of the details to the leaves, made them look a bit prettier. And on Sunday, the last day, we had finished all the leaves, so we just took an hour to make some vines out of tissue paper and wire before packing up. We then had to spend at least 4 hours scrubbing all the mess of paint we had made on the floor. The next day was Monday, aka show day. I got to wake up at the late time, 5:20 AM, to get to studio for 6:45, and on the 7:15 Oxford Tube to London with our folders full of leaves and vines.
Is it the shark? Sorry, it's just everyone. No, the shark. Smile. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, wait, what? Why did you just on Joe? You could have just said like
Me and Joe immediately managed to get left behind by the group on the tube while we were trying to chop up our zip codes.
I think it kind of like adds to the day when we got back.
Yeah. We were soon reunited for the walk to Shoreditch 100, which is the hotel where the show was taking place.
sister lives here.
Get the...
Oh, my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it's a video, yeah.
Wow. Oh my god. I think it's this one.
Or not, that's so covered.
In until afternoon we were assembling the walls. This included taping boards together and double lining them, as well as making triangular supports on the back so the walls could stand up by themselves. We also then spent a few hours stapling the stems of our paper leaves together and folding them over so they were kind of curved like this. And then we had a quick lunch break around 2 or 3.
Go through the day. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Oh, it's better than these. It's okay, you can just
Spent the next few hours actually attaching the leaves to the walls and layering them until they looked like a living wall.
Your beautiful work.
I'm pretty sure they're mine.
Video, don't take a video. It obviously is a video. Bring out your social media skills.
Similarly portrait.
You'll need a couple of minutes.
By this point it was around 4 or 5. After that it was a dress rehearsal. I was one of 4 people who'd been assigned to FaceTime the designers backstage in the show so they'd have a live feed of the show happening, and then we spent the next hour being briefed. So basically all the interns' job in the half an hour before the show was to take all the guests from queuing downstairs up through the elevators to the rooftop terrace and get them all into the right seating areas or seats, which, as you can imagine, with a couple hundred people, trying to get them all to the right place in half an hour through lifts that only hold like 7 people, it's quite a task. But you know, we did it. I was part of a group whose job it was to take the guests from the elevator to their seat. Quite often they had +1s who they were expecting to be sat next to them, but they were actually meant to be in the standing area behind them. Things like that caused like quite a lot of confusion. The whole experience was quite an adrenaline rush and was quite exciting. When the show started, I got in position, crammed in with about 20 photographers in this tiny area, but I had a nearly perfect view of the show because of that, because I was FaceTiming designers. Here's a little screen recording of that. I then gave my camera to one of my friends to get some clips of the actual show. Here they are. After that, we had to completely pack up before we went to the after party. It only took us less than 30 minutes to basically stack all the chairs, dismantle the lights, put them back in their boxes. It was sponsored by Jägermeister, so that meant there was free Jaeger all evening, and people definitely made the most of that and headed back on the Oxford tube in the morning, getting back about 3-4 a.m. It was a nearly 24-hour day for me. Loved it. We then had 2 much needed days off to recover before coming in on Thursday and doing all the induction stuff we had missed. And on Friday we came in, the whole course was exhibiting their work from the last week. We stuck up photos from the internship.
What are you writing?
So guys, if you want to challenge
The rest of the course, the other 70 people, had all been doing something called Failure Week that Oxford Brookes does every year at the start of foundation. Groups came up with things from a mock version video of You've Been Framed to installing failed dinner parties or nights out, and so on. One group even had to carry in a sync to studio for the installation they wanted to do, which was pretty cool. So there you go, that was my first week of Art Foundation at Oxford Brookes. More to come.